This guy spent $3,000 building a UFO ship that can glide over water. At one point, someone offered $100,000 to buy the ship. Let's take a look at how he made it. In fact, the process is quite simple, and you could even make one yourself at home. First, he drew 2 large concentric circles on the ground and divided them into 6 equal parts, which formed the basic framework of the UFO. Based on its size, the ship is enormous. After completing the frame, he began the actual construction. He took some steel pipes, welded them together, and used aluminum alloy strips to create a frame, which he secured at the center like a scraper. With this, the basic structure was done. Now comes the critical step. He filled the circle with sand, and as the scraper rotated, the sand was shaped into a perfect dome. To make it more durable, he poured cement over the sand and smoothed it out with the scraper. Once the cement hardened, he polished the surface and painted it purple, forming the mold for the UFO. But this was just the first step. Next, he started making the body of the ship. He chose fiberglass instead of carbon fiber or steel because fiberglass offers a good balance between strength and cost. After applying the fiberglass, he bent semicircular metal pieces and welded them into a circular frame, which was placed on the mold to create the skeleton of the UFO's body. He further reinforced the frame with more fiberglass, and soon the upper half of the UFO shell was completed. Since the resin left some rough edges, he flipped it over and carefully sanded it smooth. Once the cleanup was finished, he applied a layer of release agent on the surface. He then moved on to a crucial part of the UFO's design. He cut hexagonal foam boards and placed them on the shell, leaving some gaps. Can you guess what they were for? After securing them, he applied white resin over the foam and trimmed the fiberglass to cover each hexagon. This created a unique hexagonal pattern on the surface. Once the resin hardened, he used a grinder to smooth and separate the edges. Now he had completed the upper half of the UFO shell. The lower half was made in a similar fashion, but it also included an engine compartment for the propulsion system. He filled the gaps with fiberglass and then installed the propeller and engine. After the engine was in place, he cut an opening in front of the propeller and painted the bottom with waterproof black paint. Finally, he assembled the upper and lower halves, forming the complete UFO shell. The hatch location was pre-designed, so they simply removed the panels. The hexagonal panels were also removed, as they were just templates for the windows. After cleaning up the window areas, he used a grinder to smooth the rough fiberglass edges. Once the exterior was done, he began focusing on polishing the surface. Next came the installation of the mechanical components and interior features. He cut a hole beside the propeller for the engine exhaust pipe, and drilled another hole for a steel cable to pass through. This steel cable connected to the propeller, allowing him to control the ship. He connected the other end to the steering wheel inside the cockpit. To add comfort, he installed a comfortable seat. The interior was quite spacious, and he carefully arranged the space step by step, painting the entire ship to give it a smoother appearance. The UFO design was gradually taking shape. He also made the hatch out of fiberglass and split it into 2 halves, installing automatic lifting mechanisms on each side. The effect was very cool and had a high-tech feel. Inside, he lined every corner with fabric and installed LED lights around the hexagonal frame. The dark hull and lighting gave it a futuristic vibe. After installing all the necessary controls and instruments in the cockpit, he fitted the hexagonal windows with reinforced glass and sealed them. After 2.5 days of hard work, the UFO-like ship was finally completed, and it looked stunning. He couldn't wait to take it for a test run on a nearby river. The engine was very powerful, and the ship sped across the water effortlessly. Its streamlined design attracted attention from both sides of the river, and wherever it went, it was the center of focus. You have to admire this person's skill and creativity. If you owned such a ship, what would you want to do with it?